Maybe it's my own fault. Maybe I led you to believe my highlights started on the podium and not in practice.
The legend Rosenberg is a 4-time champion of the world.
Maybe I made you think that every race I did, I won.
2 litres in the tank for legend Rosenberg, rounding for the final corner. Does the greatest who ever do it, but if he doesn't, Scots and David steals it at the yard of bricks.
Maybe it's my fault that you think I'm unbeatable. Maybe I led you to believe that championships were given to me and not something I worked for every single day. Maybe I destroyed the league, or maybe you're just making excuses. Maybe you can beat me. Come and try.
This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. But wait, there's more. Check out the official Formula Virtual Racing merchandise line out now exclusively to Simulus Clothing. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. And a big good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Formula Virtual Racing. It's the Monaco Grand Prix, one of the favourite events on the race calendar for some. For others, it is nothing but nightmares. The walls are close around this 3.337 kilometre circuit, 2.074 miles, and it is bound to be an entertaining spectacle. My name's Evan. We'll be going live trackside in a couple of moments, but we should have a fantastic qualifying session awaiting us. I say we should. We've had a lot of issues with the game so far, but we should have a fabulous qualifying session underway shortly. In terms of the championship, it is very close at the top. Tyler Davison is leading, but not here tonight. Tyler will not be racing, meaning there is a big chance for Legend Rosenberg and for Vestago to take the top of the championship. Nathan Marriott here as well, of course. He is briefly behind the others in his championship endeavour. It's been a good opening start to the season for Nathan Marriott. Currently still second in the championship with 50 points, 10 behind Tyler Davison of Vestago in third on 39, and then Legend Rosenberg on 33. We will hopefully be going trackside in a couple of moments, folks, but we are just going to cut the cameras and we'll try get the issues sorted. We thank you for your patience. And welcome back, ladies. Welcome back. You didn't see it the first time. Welcome to Monaco, ladies and gentlemen, for the Monaco Grand Prix. Qualifying has happened. We unfortunately, I couldn't get into the game for some reason. Wouldn't let me see the pictures on the track. But we should be okay now. Legend Rosenberg has taken pole for the Monaco Grand Prix, but that does not mean race is over, because we should have a very interesting race here around the streets of the Principality. It's a 3.337 kilometre circuit, 2.074 miles, and 19 corners, 8 to the left and 11 to the right. We have some very good news, and that is that we are here. You can actually see the track, which is nice indeed. Legend took his 39th career pole position, had 38 coming into the race. This was a graphic meant for qualifying. Lewis McWilliam on 37. So Legend taking his 38th career pole position. In terms of the standings, well, it is Tyler Davison who is at the top of the order, but not racing here tonight. Nathan Marriott then in second. Those are actually the old standings. So we'll try get the new ones in for you folks. Apologies, those are last week's standings, so that was before tonight's action, before last week's action was calculated. There's the correct standings for you. So it is still the same top two, just on a lot more points. Right, let's get ready to go then. It is Legend Rosenberg and Avesta Gobadi on the front row of the grid, and Avesta knows here if he lets Legend get up Beau Rivage and in towards Massenet here in the lead of the race on the opening lap, he might not stand a chance at winning this Monaco Grand Prix. It is a very, very important launch off the line here for both the Dutchman and the Ukrainian. Avesta has got to make a move on Legend very early on, or at least stick with him, because once Legend gets up out in front and starts to stretch his legs, it could be a very long evening for the drivers hoping to chase a Monaco Grand Prix victory. But we head to the grid here in the Principality. It is the Ferrari on the front row. And we go racing here in Monaco. Jump start for Sam Williams. He's got a poor getaway, but Gobadi going for it in towards the first corner. Conor Rochford in the Alpine and Jake Marsh in fourth. There is a car already gone round at the first corner. That, I believe, is Niels Hartl, who is dropping down. Avesta Gobadi chasing Legend Rosenberg down through Massenet and in towards Casino Square. Gobadi knows he needs a good start, needs to get up and almost ahead of Legend Rosenberg almost instantly if he wants to try and win this Monaco Grand Prix. Big dive by Jake Marsh on Conor Rochford. He's looking to get into the podium places. The two Aston Martins go side by side as well, as Luke Davies sticks in 6th place. Liam Houseman is up to 7th. Adrian Tishy, what a start by him, up 7 spots to 10th, and as is Baz Van Zeep. And we have the virtual safety car for the first time, and there's why. That's Nathan Marriott, or that's actually Sam Williams' AI that is in the hairpin. He left the lobby, so unfortunately won't be playing any further part. But in terms of the tyres, it's mediums for all but Jake Marsh, and there is a problem for debutant Dylan McClements, who has spun on the exit actually of the Nouvelle Chicane under the virtual safety car. Very disappointing for the Sauber on debut, partnering Leroy Vinchendel. He has made a bit of an error there and won't be able to keep a lofty 5th position. Oh, Borbjorn. 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. We'll be able to serve that in the pit stop, but that's going to hamper his chances here at the Monaco Grand Prix, currently in a points-paying position, but for how much longer? As we do see a couple of pitters. We see, Niels Hartl picking up a penalty as well. We do see Habib McCook, Niels Hartl, Nathan Marriott and Julius Gassner all making their way into the pit stop, into the pit box I should say, presumably for damage changes. Hard tyres for 3, and then Nathan will stick on to the medium compound of tyre. That covers a lot of the screen here at Monaco, that tyre graphic. So we'll keep it off for the time being. We know who's on what, but the most important thing is the front runners have remained the same. Legend Rosenberg still leads here in Monte Carlo, as now we go racing once again. They all have the Delta under control, and there'll be no further penalties than the ones picked up under the virtual safety car. Nathan Marriott just leaving the pit lane now, had to double stack potentially with Sam Williams' AI, as we do have the caution come out. That's for one of the Red Bulls, that's Julius Gassner, who's had a problem heading down towards Mirabeau House. and that is just on the exit of the Casino Square. They file around here. It's getting very close to the Rascasse between Liam Houseman and Lewis McWilliam. Liam, of course, winner around the street circuit. Lewis, winner around the streets of Monte Carlo. So they both know how to win in a tight street circuit. Very difficult to win here from 6th and 7th when you have that absolute monster up the front of the grid. Borbune, fastest lap. Dylan McClement's fastest lap. That was, of course, due to them getting more of the lap under green flag running compared to the race leaders. Ferrari have not won this Monaco Grand Prix in FVR since the first ever edition of it, where Danny Heitkamper won the Monte Carlo Grand Prix, meaning it would be the first time in 13 seasons that the driver wearing red overalls here in Formula Virtual Racing would stand tall at the top of the podium. That's Nils Hartel out here of the Monaco Grand Prix. He'll play no further part. He is the first DNF, although we did lose Sam Williams very early on, and we have 18 runners here in Monte Carlo. Nick of the wall there for Avesta Gobadi as we see them file through the La Piscine, or the swimming pool as it's more commonly known. Vesta, a little bit all over the road here, and you can see him running wide. Has to drive the race of his life if he wants to beat Legend Rosenberg around these streets. These are Legend streets, pretty much. And I think the only time, or I think every time we come here to Monaco, Legend knows that the pressure is on him to win, but he doesn't really feel pressure. He doesn't suffer from it, especially when it comes to winning the Monaco Grand Prix. He knows he's the quickest. He knows he's the quickest, but that was almost a big slide into the wall. Huge tank slapper exiting the Casino of turn number 4 in towards Mirabeau Hout and the Grand Hotel hairpin. Big slide for Legend Rosenberg. Oh, that is the AI McLaren of Nils Hartel as the virtual safety car has come out. Is there someone smeared all over the road? No. Doesn't seem to be. I think that could be for Nils' car pulling off to the left-hand side. So second virtual safety car in 4 laps here in Monte Carlo. And we have... Oh, Julius Gassner's out, actually. That's what it's for. It's for Julius. He'll play now for the part in this one. He is out of the Grand Prix. So that's 2 retirees very early on. It's disappointing for Nils and Julius, who... Oh, and Jake Marsh drive-through speeding under the virtual safety car. Speeding under the virtual safety car is Jake Marsh, and that is very disappointing for him in 4th, making that mistake. He's now under pressure from Luke Davies right behind. And this could get very close between the 2 British drivers. Both fairly decent, fairly handy around Monaco. Luke Davies obviously winning 2 Monaco Grand Prix in both of his title-winning seasons. So if Luke wins the Monaco Grand Prix, he wins the championship. There's your little omen to go by today. But look, there's a long road ahead if anyone other than Legend wants to win this Monaco Grand Prix. Because lap 5 out of 39, the gap already 1.2 seconds between the Ferrari and Avesta Gobadi. Avesta, who has come, I want to say he's come close maybe pace-wise to winning the race, but has never physically on the track come close. And we can see Liam Houseman, sorry, I was going to say, we can see Liam Houseman catching Luke Davies. As Julius Gassner is calling me on this one, apologies, he's asking for a restart. There won't be a restart, so unfortunate there for Julius to be out of the race very on. Lewis McWilliam putting Liam Houseman under some big pressure here, heading in towards the left-hander. Lewis, a man who seems to have fairly decent pace for a man who's not really played the game too much. Of course, has been away on different endeavours and not managed to do many races here in FVR to start season 13. But this is the second of the season, so it's great to have Lewis here. Racing Saudi Arabia as well, of course, so he is fond of the street circuit. Liam, reportedly, is going to try the trolley train here tonight. He's going to try and hold up people and just try pick up a result where he can, which in Monaco is not a bad tactic, as Jake Marsh comes into the pit lane to serve a drive-through penalty. That's for speeding under the virtual safety car. Liam holding up Lewis for a couple of laps has actually helped Jake, really, but he's got to file out. Oh, maybe just in front of Borbune. If he could get out in front of Borbune here, he won't. And Borbune has a train behind him, so Jake will come out in the middle of the train. Dylan McClements hits Adrian Tishy down towards turn number 1. A little bit of a bump and run by the Sauber there. And the Williams will feel slightly hard done by. Maybe reporting that one to the stewards. The big thing here for Adrian is that there is no... or is there damage on board that Williams? Could well be. And now we see Jake Marsh going to dive down the inside. That's a big move by Jake Marsh, and into the wall goes Adrian Tishy. He's been punted out of the race, and the safety car is now out. Furious the Canadian will be with that one. Jake going to be in a spot of bother with the stewards as well. Big dive down the inside, saw the Williams out of shape. It went wrong, and Adrian was driven into the wall, heading in towards Mirabeau Hout. It's the first safety car of the Monaco Grand Prix, and I presume there's going to be a lot of pitters with that one. Yes, Legend into the pit lane, Vesta into the pit lane as well, and will Conor Rochford follow? He will. Luke Davies as well, also going to pull into the pit lane. So you see tyres being changed on board the McLaren. It'll be the hards for the majority of the field, I feel. I hope, however, that this doesn't ruin any sort of strategy elements that we might have had in this Monaco Grand Prix, because the safety car coming out at a good time in Brazil took away the strategy and sort of let Legend lead it home. Hoping that something similar isn't on the cards here. It's going to be a bit of a stint, 31 laps to be exact, to get those hards to the end. I presume we're going to get more of them under the safety car, and track position obviously crucial, so you don't mind being on older tyres if you are in front. So Legend leading the Monaco Grand Prix, for now at least. We'll be back in a couple of moments, folks.
Maybe it's my own fault. Maybe I led you to believe my highlights started on the podium and not in practice.
The Legend Rosenberg is a 4-time champion of the world.
Maybe I made you think that every race I did, I won.
2 litres in the tank for Legend Rosenberg, rounding through the final corner. Does the greatest who ever do it, but if he doesn't, Scutts and David steals it at the yard of bricks.
Maybe it's my fault that you think I'm unbeatable. Maybe I led you to believe that championships were given to me and not something I worked for every single day. Maybe I destroyed the league, or maybe you're just making excuses. Maybe you can beat me. Come and try.
Welcome back to Monte Carlo, folks. Still under the safety car here, as there's something going on the entrance to the hairpin. I think it was just the mall getting just a tad bit bunched up. Borbune starting the Borbune train a tad bit early. We're 9 laps in out of 39. Legend Rosenberg, he still has over a second lead, even under the safety car. Conor Rochford as well in third in a nice position. So Legend and Monaco dominance in this race is something that is very common. In fact, he has never lost a Monaco Grand Prix by under 10 seconds. He's never won a Monaco Grand Prix by under 10 seconds. He's lost a few of them, of course. But Season 4 won by 21.5 seconds, Season 6 won by 37.3 seconds, Season 7 he won by 11.9 seconds, and Season 12 he won by 18 seconds. So it's safe to say he likes a nice healthy advantage here in the Principality. And he's got still a decent amount of laps to pull out that gap, even with the virtual safety car and full safety car riddled race that we've had so far. Two drivers on the mediums as of current. That is Jake Marsh and Habib McCook. Habib is actually a lap down. Oh no, that's not the situation you want to be in here in Monaco, but Habib is a lap down as the safety car is coming into this lap. Everyone else is on the hard compound of tyres, and it is coming in this lap. Rami Azan saying it looks like fun. I think the 16 drivers in the field and myself would probably highly disagree with you. But Monaco is usually an interesting one. Definitely this safety car restart is, if Escobar gets a good restart here and is able to capitalise on Legend coming out of Anthony Knows, he might be able to take the lead of this Grand Prix as we go racing here in Monte Carlo. Great restart by Legend and Avesta. They've dropped Conor Rochford here as Habib McCook goes straight on and gets out of the way, hits the wall in towards turn 1. That's one way to obey blue flags, not the ideal way the Lebanese man would have liked to do that. Avesta pressing Legend Rosenberg in towards the hill. Can Dulger trying to make a move on Dylan McClements, and he has. That's a great move by Can Dulger, the Turkishman, as McClements going to try fight this one back. No, not able to get down the inside. Nathan Marriott trying to make the move on Baz Van Zeep in towards the left-hander, and he's got the job done. That's Lewis McWilliam. That is Lewis McWilliam and Liam Houseman who've been involved in an incident. Liam is perpendicular to the Lowe's hairpin, and that is Habib McCook and Sam Williams' AI, who are involved in an incident as well, and we are under the safety car again. Which is thoroughly disappointing, because it seems like we're getting actually a bit of racing there, with a good move by Candoger on Dylan McClements. And Sam Williams has actually been disqualified for parking in the dangerous location. That was an AI car anyways. We have Dylan and Jake actually coming into the pit lane. So Jake is going to... Oh, it's a front wing change for the Mercedes. So there was a problem there for the Mercedes driver. Lewis coming in as well, presumably for that incident with Liam Houseman. Has Liam actually stayed out? No, I think he has got a fresh front wing on. As not too sure what happened between those two. We'll have to try and get a word from them. Lewis actually not even sure himself what actually happened with that, it seems. We're certainly not sure, because we just saw a perpendicular Liam Houseman to the Lowe's hairpin. Liam spun. Liam spun into Lewis McWilliam. That's what's happened there, and that is a very Liam Houseman incident to occur even at the Monaco Grand Prix. Liam, unfortunately, has spun a lot in his FVR career, and that's clearly not ending tonight, as the safety car comes back out once again. We had many seasons at Monaco without safety cars, but I tell you what, we're coming back with a bang in this one. 2 virtual safety cars, 2 full safety cars. There does get to a point, of course, folks, where we can't have any more, and we're almost reaching that. We're currently in the 12th lap of 39. There's 14 runners still in this one. Jake Marsh into the pits once again, actually, so that is to serve his penalty. So Jake just getting it all done under the safety car. That's very smart, actually, for Jake. Just get the penalty served so he can have a clean race to the end. He'll put a fresh set, or he put an old set of medium tyres on. Actually, you might see him in again to put back on the fresh set. Lewis McWilliam puts back on his 4-lap old hard tyres, just doing the one in for the wing change, and then wanted to put that set back on, so had to come in again, of course, because there's no option to not change your tyres in the pit stop, which of course I'm sure you can do in real Formula 1. As you can see at the bottom of your screen, folks, the FVR Mazda MX-5 series has got underway last night in a tussle at Tsukuba. Rami Azam winning the first round. Vestigo Badi were winning the second one. You can check that out next Friday night. It'll be live from Blue Moon Speedway, or you can race in it. Join our Discord server. Some spots available. There was some spots available last night, so should be available next week too, and you can get yourself on board in the FVR Mazda MX-5 series, and should be a great race next week in Blue Moon, a track that bodes very nicely for the car, and it's a fun car, a very fun car. I had a disaster of a race, but a very fun car nonetheless. So make sure you do get on board, and if you're interested in racing that, you can. If you're interested in watching that, you can as well. Safety car in this lap then. Legend Rosenberg will lead us away once again here on the streets of the Principality of Monaco, ahead of Vestigo Badi. Let's hope we can get more than one lap of racing this time. Legend, very close to chopping off the front of Vestigo Badi as we go racing once again here in Monaco. Conor Rochford trying to get the jump on Vestigo Badi, but that's not going to work. He's under big pressure from Luke Davies, actually, heading in towards Saint-Deveau for the first time, for the 14th time, first time since the restart. Matthew Stott's looking to get up the order. The two Bs are side by side, and this is very dangerous if your name is Lewis McWilliam, trying to hook it around the outside of Massenet here on Baz van Zeep in towards the left-handed Lewis McWilliam. Is he going to get it done into Casino Square? What a slide from him. Now under pressure from Dylan McClements in the background. Lewis McWilliam slides once again and somehow gets the move stick. Dylan McClements hooks it around the outside of Baz as well, and that is an excellent piece of racing from Lewis to hang it round the outside for Massenet. A job well done by him. A little bit up the order. Cam Duggar looking to put Borbune under pressure here, heading in towards the left-hander, not able to make it stick on Borbune, and Bor will stay in 6th position. The Bor train looking to start again here as there's a McLaren front wing gone flicking. That's Luke Davies' McLaren. There's no other McLaren in the race. It's no choice but to be his, and yes, his front right end plate is missing, and he's under huge pressure from Dutch driver Leroy van Schendel in 5th position. Leroy looking to take a big points haul here, even if he stayed in 5th, but definitely an opportunity for 4th here for the Sauber team, which does consist of himself and Stotts, apologies. It consists of himself and Yafan Panguru. That Aston Martin team need a big points haul, currently 7th in the standings, and they could do with taking a big result here, and they do have 2 drivers currently in the points paying positions. Dylan McClements looking to get past Liam Houseman. Lewis McWilliam has been overtaken by Dylan McClements, who is really showing off here on debut at the streets of Monte Carlo. And you can see just a little bit in front as well, Cam Duggar trying to overtake Borbune for 6th. Jake Marsh putting Baz under pressure. We know Jake has good pace here. He simply just made the mistake with the drive-through, which he does believe is a glitch as well. And Jake Marsh dived in the inside. This is similar to what happened to himself and Adrian Tishy. They go bumping through the Nouvelle chicane. Both come out somehow unscathed. Not entirely sure how, but they both have come out unscathed. Car park. There's a car park on the exit of Tabac, and it does involve Dylan McClements. It involves Lewis McWilliam, who's wounded. It involves Liam Houseman, that's wounded. And that is a lot of damage here heading through Tabac. Virtual safety car comes out. Not sure what the mistake was made, but you saw the yellow flags. You saw them all just pile on the brakes. And there's a lot of wounded Formula 1 cars currently heading through the Rascasse. They've all survived. None of them ended the race. A lot of penalties being handed out. And the RBs are going to have to double stack as well, which is not great for Baz van Zeep. But from 9th down, all involved in that car park, heading through the speedy left-hander of Tabac. Very difficult there for those drivers. man who usually complains about the safety cars, of course, will be Legend Rosenberg. I can't imagine it's going to be any different tonight because he's not been given an opportunity to jump, and that's Luke Davies. That's the double world champion. That has spun it on the restart from the virtual safety car. That's a very rare mistake for Luke Davies, especially around Monaco, where he's usually consistent, has 2 wins, but has taken some good results here as well. Actually, a lot of podiums indeed for Luke Davies around Monte Carlo. Into the pit lane comes Luke. He's gonna change that front wing. This will dump it well. Actually, might get out in front of Jake Marsh. Jake currently heading through the swimming pool chicane and down towards La Rascasse. Luke is going to get in front, so he will be okay in that regard. Oh, it will be close actually. Here's Jake heading out. Luke Davies going to be heading out of the pit lane. Yeah, Jake Marsh ahead. So Jake is ahead of Luke. Luke is going to be ahead of Dylan McClements. So Jake into 8th, Luke down to 9th, but is on a good set of medium tyres. They might be able to hunt up the front. Estegobati, 2.1 was now 1.8 behind Legend Rosenberg. The Dutchman is not running away with this one. Remember, of course, Rose Legend has never won a Monaco Grand Prix by less than 10 seconds. So this is a fantastic performance so far by Estegobati to keep within that 2 seconds, and it would bode nicely in terms of the championship standings, because as you can see, he is currently 6 points ahead. Legend wouldn't overtake him, even winning at his best track. Very good Silverstone as well as Legend Rosenberg. So he will look to take a big result when we do head to the British Grand Prix. This is not bad so far from Estegobati. This is great for Conor Rochford as well. He's looking to take a podium. Currently for the Alpine team, carrying Alpine's reins. Conor Rochford, of course, not finishing on the podium in Formula Virtual Racing. He's never finished despite winning a Constructors' Championship. So he needs to take this opportunity with both hands. Baz van Zeep is a lap down to Rochford, as you can see there. That was very quick to the apex for Liam Houseman as we just took a brief look, but he's all okay. Has the car under control. Currently on board with Can Dulger, who's looking to attack Borbune for 5th. The Mercedesman doing a good job in this race so far. Would be big points for Can if he could take 6th. He's being hunted down by Nathan Marriott, who... Nathan is technically looking to take the championship lead. I don't think he would as it would stand, because he's not scoring more than 10 points, as Liam Houseman picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So going to assume that's heading through the swimming pool. He's picked that one up. Maybe just cut too much on the entrance, because he is currently heading down towards turn number 1, just chasing down Lewis McWilliam. As you can see, there is Houseman, there is McWilliam. So it is these two are heading up Beau Rivage, and Liam, who has picked up the 3-second time penalty. With the yellow flags do come out, and that's Liam Houseman, who's just picked up more than a penalty. He's going to pick up suspension damage, front wing damage, and the lot. He's crashed heading through Casino Square, and Liam is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. A very disappointing endeavour for Liam. He was running well and then made that mistake, then was involved in that incident, and now he is out of one of the world's famous races. Liam will play no further part in this Monaco Grand Prix. Very disappointing there for Liam Houseman, who is now out and won't score any points here. But you're looking at your race leader heading into the chicane. It's been not his most dominant Monaco drive. but he still doesn't look flustered at any points, does he? Doesn't look like there is an opportunity to lose this one. But mistakes can be made. We saw he made one in Season 10 when the win was all but in the bag, and then Legend clobbered into the wall. Let's ride on board with him in the first sector. Currently lapping 3/10 off his personal best, so it's still very consistent from the 4-time champion of the world. Very consistent indeed, and doesn't look like he's putting a foot out of line. Now increasing the gap over Vestigo Badi, but honestly second is a great result here for Vestigo Badi, especially when Luke is down in 9th. Tyler's not here. Second is a fabulous result. Luke Davies looking to make a move on Jake Marsh, potentially. Very close behind the Mercedes. And you could, just see, nudging him through the hairpin. That's how much of a pace advantage Luke actually has over Jake at this stage in the race. They've Dylan McClements right behind, so he's caught up as well, because remember, he was behind when Luke came out of the pit lane. So Jake is holding up Luke here a little bit, and Dylan capitalising on that as well. In towards the Nouvelle Chicane, Jake just cuts the inside a tad. That'll compromise his exit, and you can see a defensive line in towards the back from the Yorkshireman. Luke is really putting Jake Marsh under a whole lot of pressure here in towards the swimming pool. And you can see, just bumping over the curb. That's a mistake there for Luke. And now under pressure from Dylan McClements. Luke runs wide. That's Matthew Stotts who's out, heading through the Nouvelle Chicane. He's crashed on the exit of it, the corners that these guys just went through. So that will be another retirement here from this year's Monaco Grand Prix. Down towards the right-hander, Jake Marsh in 8th position. Luke Davies in 9th, but Luke is looking to make that 8th fairly quickly, because he is hunting down the Mercedes in front. But as we all know, very difficult to overtake at this Monaco Grand Prix circuit. It'll have to be a lunge maybe into one of the corners where Jake has made lunges. As Dylan McClements is going to make that lunge here. Trying to make the move, stick down towards the hairpin. Dylan goes for it once again, and Dylan is side by side now with Luke Davies, but wasn't able to make the move. Stick the Sauber, sticking the nose in corners where you don't often see FVR drivers do it. Dylan comes from an iRacing background. He has raced sports cars against some of Ireland's top drivers, and some single seaters as well, of course, but very quick in a sports car. So that is where his expertise comes from, compared to Luke Davies, who has only raced single seaters, all but one of them being a Formula 1 car. He raced in the Indy 250 this season, of course, looking to try and take a second duel of the Triple Crown. Luke is pushing Jake Marsh through the corners. Dylan will be used to bump drafting in sports cars. Luke will have never bump drafted a Formula 1 car before. No one should have ever bump drafted a Formula 1 car before, because the front wings on these things crumble like it's nobody's business. Speaking of crumbling from the front wing, remember that diamond that got lost in 2006, I believe it was, from one of the cars? Luke Davies all over the rear wing and rear gearbox of the Mercedes of Jake Marsh. And Dylan McClements is going to dive down the inside, and there's contact at the apex. Very similar to what happened to Adrian Tishy, but not as drastic, and Dylan's just been nudged into the wall. Luke Davies just nudging the Sauber there, not leaving adequate space, but Dylan was potentially asking for it, going for the outside in towards the Grand Hotel hairpin. Luke, I can tell, will be getting frustrated with the moves the Sauber is trying to make behind. Luke, not a man who likes wheel-to-wheel racing for a long time, likes to go for the move and get it done as soon as possible and then carry on with his evening, so won't be enjoying this too much. Or maybe he is, and I could be totally wrong, but that's my assumption nonetheless. You can see running a wide line, trying to get the up and under on Jake Marsh. Jake is playing the defensive game very well here. They're not catching Nathan Marriott in front by any stretch of the imagination, but Jake knows there'll be opportunities if someone makes a mistake or if someone DNFs, so you gotta hold your track position. They are on much quicker tyres than Nathan Marriott as well, who's on 20-lap-old hards. Jake Marsh on 9-lap-old mediums, and there's the front wing gun. There's the front wing gun for the McLaren. Luke went for the rash move in towards Massenet, and now his front right end plate has been chipped. It's the opposite. It's the same one that got chipped off the last time round when he had to pull into the pit lane to change that. This is going to be a frustrating period of the race for Luke Davies. With 14 laps remaining, he now has damage. He has a Sauber all over his gearbox, and he's all over the gearbox of the Mercedes. Dylan McClements might know this and might be trying to make the move work in towards the left-hander. No, not able to do so. Jake Marsh across the chicane. That's his mistake. Luke's got to try and capitalise on this one, but to back is not the corner you want to see following up, and he's got to go down the inside. Is Luke Davies. This is very treacherous indeed. And how has he not hit the wall? Dylan McClement's got to hang it around the outside. Oh my goodness me, is that close? In towards La Piscine and the swimming pool chicane. Dylan McClement's making a move that he definitely shouldn't be able to have made. Luke went for it in towards to back. I don't know why he did. That was not the smartest of decisions Luke's made in his racing career, and that's allowed Dylan McClements to swoop through, and Dylan seems to have the pace advantage of both of these, despite having significantly worse tyres. He's got the up and under completed here on Jake Marsh, and they're side by side up in towards Massenet. Dylan McClements on the outside, Jake Marsh on the inside, bumping and banging their way through the corner. The Sauber will come out in front. Jake Marsh all over the road here. Not much road holding on that Mercedes, that's for sure. This is scrappy Monte Carlo racing, but Dylan McClements is up to 8th position, and he just backs them all up in towards the Grand Hotel hairpin. This is fantastic stuff and thoroughly enjoyable to watch between this trio. An unlikely trio to be battling for 8th position in this race, but certainly an entertaining one nonetheless, and I can't imagine the battle will be over just yet. Jake does pick up a 3-second penalty as the yellow flags are out in sector number 1. Looks like it was Bas van Zeep. Wouldn't be entirely sure. It does seem to be him though that just went off in towards the first corner. Speaking of this first corner, McClements putting a 1.6 second lead over Jake Marsh, which is really impressive because he's on worse tyres than Jake. Maybe the medium's not having great degradation, or maybe they're being there's some front wing damage on the Mercedes. That explains it. The factory Mercedes and the Mercedes engine in the back of the McLaren, both those cars are walking wounded. They have the opposite front wings chipped, so maybe they'll cancel out each other and it'll actually be normal for this battle. But Jake's suffering with damage as well, as is Luke Davies. Might give Lewis McWilliam a bit of motivation to try and catch up to Jake Marsh. He is... Oh, this is going to be a sour one. This kind of reminds me of when Lando Norris lapped Daniel Ricciardo in the 2021 Monaco Grand Prix. The former teammates, the 4-time world champion, is about to lap the 3-time world champion. And Lewis must obey blue flags. He's not able to... Well, if he does back up Legend, he will pick up a penalty by the stewards as Jake does come into the pit lane, possibly for a front wing change. But Legend is hunting down Lewis McWilliam, and Lewis does in theory have to let him through, and he's going to pull into the pit lane. So we'll let Legend through. Legend has now lapped his old firing partner, Lewis McWilliam. Is the Lewis McWilliam FVR era over potentially? I would say just like the Daniel Ricciardo F1 era was, but did he ever really have an era? Lewis in 11th though, points. Unless he can get one for the fastest lap, not really looking on offer. But Lewis's ultimate goal this season isn't points, is it? He's here as a reserve entry, and he's here to gain some track experience in the new game and to have a good time, really. Legend not gone about this statistic well though. He's not pulling over 10 seconds on a Vestago bad. He currently sits at 3.2. So that's something to keep an eye on as we head into the final stages of the race. These two at a pace that is just unthinkable to the rest of the field. 16.8 seconds back to Conor Rochford. And then he's 2 ahead of Leroy, who's 7 ahead of Borbune. And then you go a little bit further back, 8 to Nathan, 14 to Dylan McClements. And then just way back after those who have made the pit stops. So Legend and Avesta, what lap times are they tracking at? 1:11.4 for Legend. What about Avesta? 1:11.3. So Avesta actually a tad bit quicker on that lap, lapping very close to his PB. But 1:11s is the number to go for. Both on the same tyres. both on 21 lap old Pirelli hard compound tyres that will be degrading at this point. So you got to keep your eye on them. It's been a great race from Avesta though. Really, really solid stuff. It's not the win, and Avesta always comes into a race hoping to win. Never really happy with second. But it's been a really good race. It's been steady. It's been controlled. And although he is pushing the car, he's not over pushing it like sometimes he usually does. And I think Avesta knows that a second place at Monaco, when Legend is the car in front of you, is as good as a win. And it's going to help him in the championship significantly, because Legend will outscore him, but not outscore him by enough to overtake him, and then they're back. Oh, just as I say that, Avesta was running a cool and composed race. He is sliding all over the circuit, maybe suffering from those tyres, but if Avesta can hold this position, which he probably should, even if that means backing off the pace a little bit. I know he doesn't want to get his ego bruised, but they'll be back on level footing in 2 weeks' time. No race next week, of course. It will be a break week here for FVR, folks. But in 2 weeks' time, when we do head to Australia for the first race of the second half of the season, they'll be back on level footing in terms of maybe pace. Because, I mean, you come into Monaco, you know exactly what you're getting, and that's usually a Legend Masterclass, unless he makes that rare mistake that he made back in Season 10. Which he hasn't even looked close to repeating ever since it happened. They're just extending the gap to the rest of the field. Here at a circuit that has become a permanent fixture on the F1 calendar since 1955. It has been on every FVR calendar bar one since the opener in Season 1. And remember, Scuderia Ferrari have not won this race since then, when Danny Headcamper won it. 4 years ago now, Danny Headcamper won. We go by seasons, because we don't necessarily do one every calendar year. Sort of 2.5 every calendar year. But that was 4 years ago, when a Ferrari driver driving for a Ferrari here in Formula Virtual Racing won the Monaco Grand Prix. Some have got close and failed, but they always knew this was going to be their best chance. Still has a few laps to go. Anything could still happen in Monte Carlo. Still plenty of chances for some to make a mistake. Another great race here is for this man, Leroy Van Schendel, in 4th position. A man who, I'm going to call a spade here, had no confidence coming into this race, or any race so far this season. A 4th place, and catching Conor Rochford, is going to go a long way to help building him back up in both the championship and potentially his mentality. Leroy currently 19th in the FVR Drivers' Championship with no points. The only other man with no points is Liam Houseman, who hasn't scored today either. A 4th place here, of course, would warrant him 12 Formula Virtual Racing World Championship points, and that would put him up near Matthew Stotts, Adrian Tishy and Thomas Main, and Yafin Panguru. So he'd be right back up there. He'd be alongside his teammate, and it's a big points haul for a Sauber team that have struggled at times this year. Bourbion, big points haul for him as well. Luke Davies, maybe one of the disappointing aspects of this race, picking up, or poor qualifying and then picking up the damage hasn't helped. Of course, you were watching his onboard in qualifying, because that was the only bit of footage that we could actually get. "22 seconds now, the gap between between Avesta and Conor Rochford. Avesta has just lapped Jake Marsh in the Mercedes, a man who could have been on the podium here today if everything went right for him, was having a great race until he wasn't. But that unfortunately does seem to be a common theme with Jake Marsh, and with Avesta, actually, the man in front of him sometimes. They're driving well, they have good pace, and then throw it away. We're hoping Avesta doesn't do that, but Jake unfortunately has. He currently picked up 2 World Championship points, 1 for finishing in 10th, and 2 for the fastest lap. Scored a podium this season in Spa-Francorchamps, of course. He'd like another one, I think, before the season finishes. Has 5 races to do so as we head into the second half. 10-race season, of course. And he's got good pace. Admittedly, he is on way better tyres than Avesta Gobadi here, so it's a little bit skewed, but does have good pace. Avesta. And, of course, Mr. Rosenberg. Both lapping incredible lap times here. Is another one that could hurt the ego potentially. That's Luke Davies, who Legend is slowly approaching. And as far as I'm aware, Luke has never had to obey blue flags in his Formula Virtual Racing career. What does this mean for any sort of championship charge? Which Luke hasn't really had this season. He hasn't been able to do a few races, so that hasn't helped, but isn't too far off Legend Rosenberg, at least until tonight. He will be now. That goes without any question. Potentially too far off to launch a real championship challenge. And there he goes. It's a lap down for Luke Davies. Next target for Legend is Dylan McClements in 8th position. Looking to try and lap the entire grid at some point in these Monaco races will Legend Rosenberg. But remember, he's never not won by over 10 seconds. He's not winning this one by over 10 seconds as it stands, unless he can pull 7 out in 4 laps, which is a credit to Vesta, more so, because Legend has been unbelievable from start to finish. Vesta just keeping good pace as well. Yellow flags are out, and it is Lewis McWilliam that's out of the Monaco Grand Prix. He's crashed it, heading through Casino Square. He's hit the inside wall and binned it. We're down to 11 runners here in this race. 8 retirees in Monaco, which is, I mean, probably not even too bad, really, considering the race we've had. Lewis will play no further part, and look, it's not going to be a race to remember for Lewis, but he's just here to test himself. He's just here to do a few races while he can, so I don't think he'll be the saddest man in the Monte Carlo harbour here this evening. Certainly, this man won't be either. Leroy Vincendel. He is driven a great race and is catching Conor Rochford. The only thing that's going to hamper him is that 3-second time penalty. That's what he is going to lose out on. Well, he has to overtake Conor Rochford as well, of course, but if he somehow was to get ahead of Conor Rochford, he wouldn't take that position anyways. But will stay ahead of Borbune, even with that penalty, so that's a plus for Leroy Vincendel, so that's something he can be proud of here tonight. Dylan McClements, 0.4 of a second off Nathan Marriott. This is a man who's excelled here, has been on maybe the dirtier side of things. Will be under investigation by the stewards, but he's been very quick. Likes him on an open sort of a circuit. Outside for Nathan Marriott now goes Dylan McClements. Going to just hook it round the outside and hope it sticks. It doesn't. Nathan Marriott defends nicely, heading up the hill in towards the left-hander. Great job there by Nathan Marriott to keep that position, and he does so. Jake Marsh and Luke Davies. Jake gets past Luke Davies here, so even with the pit stop, and now they've crashed on the main straight. Jake now facing the wrong way. This isn't going to allow Bas van Zeep to get a position because he's a lap down to both of them. But that's another incident there for Luke Davies and Jake Marsh. And Dylan McClements is ahead of Nathan Marriott. So Dylan is ahead of Nathan Marriott. He's up to 7th, but he does have a lot of penalties, so will lose out on that. Nathan won't be too worried. But Nathan on 34 lap old hard tyres, he's almost going to go, as they'd say, coast to coast with them and take them the full length of the race. he has to be careful not to get a puncture. Has to be very careful not to get a puncture. The smoothest steering of Nathan's life here, the former championship leader and one-time race winner this season. Lock in the front left is not going to help this. Leroy Vincendal getting very close to Conor Rochford as well here in this podium battle. Conor is going to be counting his lucky stars for Leroy getting that penalty. So even if Leroy did get ahead, Conor would not lose out on his first FVR podium. Here we go. Here's the tactics coming in. Avestigobadi pits for a fastest lap attempt, while in second with 2 laps to go in the Monaco Grand Prix. Legend will get his win over 10 seconds at least. That we can confirm, but it is due to Avesta going for this fastest lap attempt. My worry here would be, what if Avesta was to make a mistake and bin it? That would be an almighty blunder, and he would lose a lot more than the 1 point he might gain for the fastest lap of the race. And there's others going for it. Jake has come into the pit lane as well. He is a lap down though, so is he actually even going to get an attempt? I'm not so sure, but he does have it currently. Let's have a look at the fastest lap of the race. There's a 109.679 for Jake Marsh. Avesta needs to do that 109.679 if he wants to take an extra World Championship point and only be outscored by 5 by Legend Rosenberg, not 6 that he is currently being outscored by. No, hold on. No, yeah, he didn't be outscored by 5. Sorry, I had to remember the gap between the points. So let's have a look then. This has to be a qualifying level lap for Avestigobadi. He needs to beat that 109.6. Has saved up the battery to do so. And he's entering in towards turn number 1. It's the last lap of the Monaco Grand Prix here at the Principality. And Avestigobadi is going for fastest lap attempt on the final lap here after he's driven such a great race. If he was to make a mistake now, it would truly be heartbreaking. Because he probably does deserve... Oh, there's lap traffic! There's a bit of lap traffic on his lap. This is not what he wants to see. That's Bas van Zeep in the RB just in front. Avesta will be praying that he gets out of the way, but rounding through the final corners now, heading in towards La Piscine and the Rascasse, the streets he has dominated time and time again. Ferrari have not won this race in 4 years in FVR, and it was a Dutchman at the wheel then. It'll be a Dutchman at the wheel now. Ferrari win for the first time since season 1. Legend Rosenberg, the greatest to ever do it at the streets of Monte Carlo, is going to win for a 5th time here in Monte Carlo. What a win by Legend Rosenberg. But crucially in the championship, is Avesta going to get the fastest lap here across the start finish line? He is, by less than 3 thousandths of a second. Incredible. And then rounding for the final corners to stand tall on an FVR podium for the first time in his career. It'll be Conor Rochford from the Republic of Ireland who does it. Leroy Vincendal will come home and pick up 4th. That'll be like a win for him. His pace was great today as Avesta's pipped. Luke Davies gets the fastest lap. Avesta's pipped by a 1/10 of a second. Luke gets the fastest lap across the line. Borbune in 5th, and now the fastest lap goes to Jake Marsh, who crosses the line in 10th. Nathan Marriott does not currently possess a front wing, but it doesn't matter. Oh, actually, it does matter, because he needs to be within a penalty window here of Dylan McClements. I think he might be okay. I think Nathan's going to get 7th across the line. Is he going to get 7th? He is. So the Aston Martin will finish 7th, but it's Legend Rosenberg who will stand tall on the FVR podium. Confirmation of your full race results then. It's Legend Rosenberg who wins the Monaco Grand Prix with a race time of 51 minutes and 8 seconds. Avesta Gobadi in second and Conor Rochford in third. And then it was Leroy Van Chendel, Borbune, Can Dulger, Nathan Marriott, Dylan McClemens, Luke Davies and Jake Marsh. And it was Baz Van Zeep ahead of Lewis McWilliam. Your non-finishers, this of course Lewis McWilliam, Matthew Stotts, Liam Houseman, Habib McCook, Adrian Tishy, Julius Gassner, Niels Hartle and Sam Williams. Let's see, can we get a few interviews in? Yes, we can. Let's hear from your podium drivers now. Legend has joined and gone, so let's see, can we hear from your podium now? Legend, hello, can you hear me? Oh, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Legend, fairly self-explanatory one for you there.
Yeah, I'm happy, but it was very boring. But yeah, it is what it is.
In terms of the championship, though, nice points. You're certainly back in the fight now. Will you be looking for maybe to keep going for the 5th?
Yeah, obviously that's the plan, but we are now halfway there. I think for the championship standings, I think it's pretty close now. So, yeah, anything can happen on those races. But I'm happy that I'm back in the fight because I was many points behind. But with this one, we are back. So, yeah, obviously I'm going for those 5th. But, yeah, if I do it this season, I don't really care. I've proven enough in this league.
Speaking of 5, then, which of the 5 Monaco wins were the best?
I think they all were pretty boring, but I think the first one then.
Well, Legend, thank you very much. Congratulations on another win, and without a doubt, we'll be speaking to you again soon.
Thank you.
Avesta, 2nd place then for you. You were a little bit worried that Legend would just be able to outpace everyone today, but he didn't really outpace you. Are you happy with the performance?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were in practice lobbies with Legend. He was just flying away from me, and I just last second again, I just changed something to the setups. Felt that it might have been better for the balance in general, because when you get a TT setup, it's so very different to what's in the race. But yeah, pace was good actually. Didn't expect it in Monaco. At least I didn't crash. That's good.
Are you disappointed not to get the fastest lap at the end there? We saw there was a lapped car in front of you. Did that kind of did that get in your way?
Yeah, some flashbacks also, because it's unlucky, but I mean, I'm still P2. I mean, I didn't lose much, just a point and a point. In this championship fight, I don't think it will do much because there's still many races to go. But I mean, I gave it a go at least, so I didn't lose much anything. But yeah, we'll be looking forward for the next races. But at least P2 Monaco, I'll take that every day, honestly.
Thinking of the next races, then, do you think you'll be able to grab a win in a couple of those?
Well, it's hard to say, to be honest, because Legend is here obviously, and he's getting back to the pace, and also Lewis is coming back, and there are actually many drivers who got really fast in this game, especially in F124, and I don't know, it just helps the physics, it's different, completely different game to the last year, so it's a new philosophy of driving. If I'll be optimistic enough, I think I'll get like 1 or 2 win max, but it just depends on the practice, because I didn't practice much for Monaco because I knew I would maximum be in the podium and not the race win. So if I focus a bit more, practice a bit more, why not, for sure.
Avesta, thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations on 2nd place. And now on to a man who's here for the first time other than his Constructors' Championship victory. Conor Rochford is the first FVR podium. How does that one feel?
It feels very good. It's wet in buckets, to be honest. Got damage on one of the restarts, and trying to keep Leroy behind was difficult enough.
In terms of that race, I believe you had front wing damage for the end of it?
Yeah, I got front wings damage at the second restart, and I went into the back of a Vesta. Probably more my fault than anyone's, but sure. Car still felt very good to drive, just a bit lazy on the front, but it was still very good to drive, very nice.
And then Lewis called you second driver before the race. You DNF, or he DNF, and you scored a podium. Any comment for the world champion?
He may shuttle big gob, to be honest. He's world champion. I've just got my first podium, so he's still a far more proven driver than what I am. So hopefully I'll be there one day.
Connor, thank you very much and congratulations. A great podium there and a job well done.
Thanks, Evan.
Well, that's all we have time for here in Monte Carlo, folks. We have no race next week. We're on a break week, but we will be back in 2 weeks' time for the Australian Grand Prix. FVR action doesn't fully go away, though. We will have the Mazda MX-5 series on next Friday night. You can catch that from 8 o'clock live on Blue Moon Speedway with Adrian Tishy. He'll be bringing you through that one. But from myself, Evan, thank you very much for joining us here in Monaco. Stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time. Bye-bye.